All of Sir Topham Hatt's engines like to be busy. They haul goods and passengers all day long. One day, Percy was excited. He couldn't wait to tell the other engines the news. "Guess what, Gordon?" Percy said excitedly. "A new engine is coming." "Nonsense, Percy," said Gordon. "There's no new engine." "Sir Topham Hatt said so," said Percy. "He's going to tell us what his name is." "Nonsense, Percy," snorted James. "There's more engines than us, but we don't need another one on this railway." "Yes, we do," said Percy. All the engines were still arguing when... "Silence!" shouted Sir Topham Hatt. "I am going to tell you, Percy, that a new engine is coming tomorrow." "Who is it, sir?" asked Percy. "His name is Neil," said Sir Topham Hatt. "He's arriving at Brendam Docks tomorrow." So all the engines were very excited, especially Percy. So he went off to collect his mail cars. The next day, the new engine had arrived. "Good morning," said Sir Topham Hatt. "What's your name?" "Neil, sir," said the engine. "It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. They say that I'm special. Everyone knows it. Percy will show me around." "Good," said Sir Topham Hatt. "You are welcome, Neil." Then Percy arrived. He had never seen an engine look unusual before. "Hello," said Neil. "You must be Percy." "Nice to meet you, Neil," Percy said proudly. "Okay, Percy," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Show Neil what to do." So the two engines went off together. At the sheds, when Neil came, Gordon, Henry, and James were surprised. "You're an interesting engine I've ever seen," said Henry. "Henry's right," said James. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Neil." Neil was happy that the other engines were liking him. Back at the yards, Neil spoke calmly to Percy. "Didn't you know that James and Henry called me special?" asked Neil. "They did," said Percy. "I have to take the mail today, Neil. Would you like to help me?" Neil wasn't sure what to do. I have to shunt some trains for Henry and Gordon," Neil said importantly. "In fact, Henry will be here any minute. I'll just do something for you." Percy knew that Neil was trying to be a hero. "Right," said Percy. "We'll have a rest in the shed." That evening, Percy and Neil had a wonderful day. There had been no complaints, and Gordon, Henry, and James were doing fine jobs. "Well, well, well," said Gordon. "Feeling special today, Neil?" "Yes, I am," said Neil happily. "I'll be on local runs tomorrow." Then Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "I see you've shunted coaches for Henry. How is it, Neil?" "Very good, sir," said Neil happily. Sir Topham Hatt turned angrily to the big engines. "Gordon, Henry, and James," he said, "why didn't you do your jobs that Neil gave you orders?" Gordon and Henry were shocked. It wasn't me, sir, said Gordon nervously. It wasn't me, said Henry. Well, you should have done as I say, said Sir Topham Hatt. You three will stay in the shed until tomorrow. Percy and Neil, you can do whatever you want. So that was the way Gordon and Henry kept it. Sir Topham Hatt was right, and Neil was the proudest engine on all of the island of Sodor.